My name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast, and this is my Makeup Monday for this week. Today I'm going to play with the Lights Aglow suite of products that's in the mini catalogue. I find everybody has a thing for Christmas, like they either like snowflakes or they like Christmas trees or they like cute animals like the gnomes. Well, my thing is Christmas trees and decorations of Christmas trees. That's my thing. That's the thing I love about Christmas. I love putting up my Christmas tree and decorating it with all my pretty decorations that I've collected over the years. So that's my thing. So the Lights Aglow suite with the Christmas trees, I just really liked. So I had to have it. So I got this watercoloring technique of a lady in Canada, the Victoria Paper Shaper, and I really liked how it turned out. So I had a little play and practice with it, and it's one of those techniques that it never turns out exactly the same each time. So this was my first practice, and she used the white embossing powder and I'm going to use white. I did try silver and silver worked quite well. I don't dislike the silver. And also tried gold, but I don't think the gold it just doesn't have that pop that the white and silver do. The white particularly, I think the white's the winner, the white embossing powder. So I've done it in the greens and I've also done it in the blues. So this one I used the Merry Melodies embossing folder behind it, and this one I used the Fern embossing folder. And then over the weekend, I also had a play with the Snowflakes in that set. So they look quite pretty too. So I thought we'd do 2 Christmas trees today. So I shall put my phone up into the holder and we can get started. Okay, so these are my samples again. You might be able to have a better look at them this way. So that's my green Christmas tree with the white embossing. This is my blue Christmas tree with the white embossing. These are my snowflakes, and I also used the specialty vellum that's in the mini catalogue with that, and the iridescent pearls. The snowflakes are quite hard to line up once you've stamped and embossed them because it's on the watercolour paper, so it's really hard to see. The trees are a little easier. So this was my tree in the silver embossing powder, and this was the gold. The gold is nice, but it just doesn't pop like the white or the silver. I think the silver's quite nice. So let's put our sample cards to one side. And we'll have a look at the suite in the mini catalogue. So it's on page 30 and 31. The whole suite is 2 stamp sets and dies, the festive pearls, the beautiful golden vanilla ribbon, the glimmer specialty paper, the festive foils, and the 6x6 Lights Aglow DSP. Just a beautiful suite of products. So this is a little bit closer up with the trees and the dies to cut the trees out. There's 2. One can go around the outline of the tree, and the other one cuts all the little dots and stars in the tree. So it's very versatile. I really like it. And in the suite, if you buy the whole suite, you get this gorgeous Brightest Glow Christmas sentiment stamp set. And I always love a good sentiment stamp set for Christmas. Many years ago, there was one called Many Merry Messages. I might even still have it. But that was my go-to Christmas sentiment stamp set. That's on the wooden blocks. So I must have a look and see if I still got it. I think I do. But this one's beautiful. Love it. So, and in this set, the dies cut out, there's a label, a circle, and another label. And these are a couple of ones I've played with over the weekend as well, and using the dies from the Sentiment stamp set. So they're quite pretty. This was from the Stylish Shape dies, but this die was from the Sentiment stamp set. So it's just a really lovely suite to play with. So, and if you were buying the whole suite, it is one of the dearest ones. It's $261. You would get $180. You get 3 celebration products before the end of August while celebration runs. So you've got your $90 free celebration, your level 1 celebrations, and then you've got your level 2 celebrations for $180. So you could get 3 $90 celebration products, or you could get a $180 and a $90. Pretty sure that adds up to $261. I'm not sure. Maths isn't my best suit. But yeah, so it's good if you're going to outlay a big amount for a suite. This is a beautiful suite, and you can get a whole lot of freebie stuff too. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about it. You don't have to buy the whole suite. You can buy it in pieces. You can just get the Christmas tree one. You don't have to get both. You don't have to get all the glimmer paper. You can buy it all separately. So you don't have to spend that big amount to get the lot if you don't want the lot. That's my puppy dog going off ahead. Okay, so we're using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper that Stampin' Up has, and just off the top of my head, I do not know, cannot remember how much it costs, but I always just cut. It's 5 by 7, 7 by 5, or 5 by 7. Let me double check that. Yes, 7 by 5 inches. So I just cut it in half, and that's always a good card front for a card front. But I'll show you how we're going to get 2 trees out of that card front. So what you'll need is a card base, A5 card base. That's if you're going to make this card. You'll need an A5 card base, and then I've got a strip of a coordinating color, 7.5 centimeters by 14.4. You can do it the length 14.8 if you want of the card, but I've just done a little bit shorter. And then this white piece will get embossed, and it's 7 centimeters by 14.4. And then you've got your piece of watercolor paper, and you've got a little tag to add to it. So we might do our heat embossing first and see how we go. So I've got my Versamark, I've got my white embossing powder. Don't know what my dog's going off about. It could be just somebody walking past. Sometimes she does do that. Very often, but sometimes. So these are the dies for the Christmas lights. And as I said, it's got one that goes around the Christmas tree. And this other one cuts out a really nice decorative. I don't think I've got one cut out. Thought I had one somewhere, but anyway. And then the snowflake goes round the snowflake, but then this goes in the center and cuts out other bits. And as I said, that was really hard to line up with the watercolor paper, and the white embossing on the white cardstock. It was very difficult, so you have to have a lot of time for that one. So I'll get my die out ready, and I've got my stamp here. Now we'll just stamp one at a time, but I'll show you how I fit 2 on this piece of paper. Got a nice new Versamark ink pad, which is really nice. Rosie. So instead of stamping it like that, if you stamp it to an angle, I'll show you, like this, you'll get another one there. So let me just try not to bring my head in. She is upset about something. Okay. So that's that. See how you can't see what you're doing? So I shall get my little embossing tray. Now this is a new product in the mini catalogue. They've brought it back. So you get the embossing buddy, the tray, the tweezers and the brush. I think it's $47. Honestly, it's the best thing I've ever bought. So I used to have my embossing powders in a jar, like a airtight container, and this is really good. I'm really liking this. So I've just got a little bit there, so I'm just going to get rid of that, even though my die would get rid of that. Now I think, oh look, let's try. I haven't done this before. Probably not a good idea to do it on a video, but anyway, I'll try and stamp my other one, and then we can heat emboss both at the same time. I can see where that powder is. See how 2 trees will fit? There we go. And then I'll die cut them out together, like at the same time. She's calmed down now. So I had a weekend of crafting. I didn't have a class this weekend, so I've been playing with all sorts of products. So I'll show you how this all goes back together. I'll just move that to one side so I don't do anything terrible before I heat emboss it. So you just unscrew the end of your heat embossing tray, and it just goes down the funnel back into your little jar. And these little jars are much easier to store than all the clip lock containers I had with my embossing powder on it. And I don't know if embossing powder goes off, but I had a whole lot of white embossing powder in a clip lock container, and it certainly doesn't heat emboss like this new jar does. So I've got a feeling that they can go off, so maybe that's why they come in little jars. So I shall put that to one side. Okay, set that back there. Now I shall get my heat tool. So I will turn the volume down and speed it up so you don't have to be bored watching me heat emboss. Okay, so you can't really see, but that's it, heat embossed onto the watercolor paper, the white heat embossing. So now we're going to get our cut emboss machine in to the situation. And I've got my die, so I'll cut one at a time, and I might use my little bit of tape just to, I just want to line it up properly. Okay, that looks pretty good. So yeah, I've had a weekend of crafting, and I've been playing Olivia Newton-John songs all weekend because I really liked Olivia Newton-John. So sad, but she fought long and hard. So but yeah, Grease came out Grease the movie came out when I was in year 8, so I was like about 14. So yeah, as they said, everybody wanted to be Olivia Newton-John, and I was one of those people too. She was so pretty and so skinny. Could sing, could dance, triple threat, and act. Okay, so that's all that is left from that half a piece, and see how it uses the piece of paper quite efficiently so that you can get 2 trees. So I shall, oh, I know what else I want to do. I want to emboss my white piece of cardstock, so I shall get my embossing. So I'll do the fern one. So I'll grab my white piece of cardstock and get rid of my post-it note. So this is a 3D embossing folder, so you just need your base plate and the embossing plate for 3D embossing folders. Sorry if it's shaking my camera. So that's the fern embossing folder. That's in the Sun Prints, in the annual catalogue in the Sun Prints suite of products. So you can buy it by itself. It's $15.75. It's just one embossing folder. Get rid of the embossing machine. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do before we go any further is I'm going to clean off my stamp, because the Versamark ink is very sticky, and I find the chamois actually doesn't clean the stamp very well. So I've gone back to my Stamp and Mist and my scrub to get the stickiness off the stamp. It could be just me being pedantic, but I really don't like stickiness on my stamp. It's the only thing I don't like about Versamark. Okay. Okay, so let's bring our trees back in. Oops. So what we can do is we can layer these pieces together, ready for our card construction, and then we'll do our watercolouring. So just with Tombow or tape or seal, just glue on the back, and it goes right to the end, but it's got the border on either side. And I want the border to be even. I swear to God, I can't do things when I'm doing videos or lives that I can do normally. Like, things just don't seem to work for me. Okay, now I do have a little bit of a rough edge down here, so I'm just going to tidy that up with my snips. Okay, and we'll wait before we attach that to the card in case we decide we don't want it centered. We want to put it side on or something. Okay, so let me get one of our trees. Now, you need some re-inkers for this technique. That's the easiest way to do it. So we'll do a blue tree, and I'm going to order Coastal Cabana re-inker and Bermuda Bay because I don't have those, and I think they would be good colours for this. So I've got Pool Party. So just put a few dots on your block. This one's Balmy Blue. And Night of Navy. You only need one dot of Night of Navy. It goes a long way. You do not need much, and it's a good idea to put your little inkers there, and then you know which colour, because they all look the same on your block. You know where you're at. And this is one of the aqua painters from the annual catalogue. You get a set of 3. You get a fine, a medium, and you get this brush one. And this is the one I've been using for this technique. So I'm just going to make sure the water's running through that. And I've got my little silicone mat underneath. You don't need that. You could just use some scrap paper. And I'm just putting some water onto the ink. And I'm just going to swoosh it like so. Okay. So start with the light colour and work up. It's really lovely effect. You want some more, just go back and get some more. And you can squeeze the colour out, but if you start with the light and work to the dark, it doesn't really matter. So as I said, the Night of Navy is the darkest and you don't need much. There we go. And that will, if you want to put a bit more dark in, go ahead. If you try to splotch it up with the tissue or a piece of paper towel, you will take colour off. So I suggest you don't do that. So that's our blue one. So I'm going to move that to one side and I will get a tissue. So if you're going to do some and you've got ink left over, stamp and emboss a few and then keep going. I'm going to just wipe this ink off because we're going to do a green one. So I'm just getting all the blue out of my re-ink, out of my aqua painter. Honestly. See, I can't even talk when I do videos. That'll do. Now, I will get a scrap of paper for this one. And that one can stay on the silicone sheet. So we'll put our blues away. And I've got my greens here. So I've got Pear Pizzazz. Soft Succulent. And Evening Evergreen. And Evening Evergreen's like Night of Navy. So you don't need a lot of that. And once again, keep your little ink bottles here so you know what colours you're using because they look the same. Pardon me. So I'll just make sure that's running smooth and free. So this is Pear Pizzazz. So just get some ink through it. And you can decide where you want to put it. And I'll just get rid of some of that colour. Come on, off you come. And this is Soft Succulent. It's just such a fun technique. And this is Evening Evergreen. You get big inky, but that's half the fun. So that's a green tree. So I'll just squeeze all this out so that it's... So you pretty much, you use a lot of water. So I use the whole, pretty much the whole container in this is aqua painter of the water. It's still not running clean. I'll wash that out later. If you don't have the brush one, I think it would work with no, it probably wouldn't work as well with that tip. You would need a fatter tip than that. This one, anyway, it's just a bit of trial and error. So I'll wipe those up. As I said, heat emboss a few things because you have some ink left over and you can keep playing. Okay, so So we shall move that one to one side. Actually, what we'll do is we'll pick this one up and put it over here, and I will get my tissue and clean up my silicone sheet. There we go. And we might just get the heat tool and dry them off a little bit. So it won't be a moment. Doing that yourself, I just had to heat them, I just had to dry them off for quickness for the video. So now let's bring back our cards, our sample cards back in. Okay, I think I will still center it. I like it centered. Okay, so let's put this down on our card. So I use my grid paper to line that up, and just sort of roughly. If you wanted it to go 14.8, the length of your card, you could. I just forgot and cut it like I was doing my normal matting piece. Now I'm going to put that like so with my glue. So the watercolor paper is the best paper to do this kind of watercoloring. You can also use shimmery white paper that's in the annual catalogue. If you tried it with just the normal Whisper White, it wouldn't really work. The cardstock would go too soggy. It's too thin and it wouldn't work, really. So I'm just holding that down because it's a little bit thicker. Okay. And what else do we want to do? We want to, I've got a little piece here. I think this is from the Scalloped Contour dies. I've got a whole lot of them cut out for this very reason. Ready to go. And I shall get my Night of Navy. And what sentiment? This sentiment is from the Boughs of Holly stamp set, or Leaves of Holly. This one's from this. So I've just got to make sure I choose one that will fit in there. And I think 'Tis the Season's the one that's the only one that will fit. Unless I do a Joy. Let's do Joy. I've got all my little ink bottles there. So if you don't have any re-inkers, they're really good to have, to re-ink your ink pads, but also to do some fun techniques with. So let me just get that straight. Joy, like that. And I like my tree, and see how they all turn out differently. See, this one's got a little bit more going into green. Oh, that was just two colors. Sorry, that was Balmy Blue and Night of Navy, because I put the pool party in it. It's sort of blended into the green a bit. This one had pool party as well. I think I like that one better. I do like the white embossing powder the best, definitely. It just looks, it pops, and you need it to pop. It's a popping type of technique. Okay, so let me just stick some dimensionals on the back here. I don't think you need any ribbon. I think the embossing and the watercoloring is enough. So I'm just going to pop that like so, and I'll get some bling down. Now these ones were just basic rhinestones, but I think I might use the iridescent rhinestones for this. Only left with big ones. Wonder if they're going to be too big to have all of them big. Oh look, let's just go for it. The bigger the bolder. Put one there. Could put one over here. No, I think I'll put one there. There we go. Oh, I've got another pack, so that's good. Okay, so all that's left to do now is to do a... Now I've got a lawnmower outside. I can't win. So I've done my card this way opening because I like those at Christmas time. So I hope this hasn't gone too long, this video. I try to keep them to half an hour because I think that's a good time. Okay, so that's our insert put in there, and I'll just stamp a little Christmas tree from... I'll just use this tiny, tiny Christmas tree and I'll stamp that inside. So, how good are they? So interesting to do. And here's my green one. I'll make up another card with that one. I will use that one, but it's just not as good. And I'll use that one too. And there's my snowflake one. So I hope you enjoyed that. Watercolor technique. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that. So that's my Makeup Monday for today, and I shall see you on Friday for my Facebook Live Card and a Cuppa. Bye for now.